Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? The New Orleans Saints beat the Cleveland Browns 35-14. You know, if you didn't watch a play of the game, and just judging by the Saints' record, I'm guessing a lot of you probably didn't watch a play of the game, and you just saw the final score, you go, man, Saints rolled them, huh? What a day. Not exactly. That game was tied at 14 in the fourth quarter. And the Saints outscored the Browns 21-0 in the fourth quarter. That's a hell of a way to finish. You know, for the second consecutive week, the Saints have found a way to win by making winning plays. First quarter, Browns are going for it on a 4th and 1. Demario Davis, boom, big stop. Turnover on downs, Saints would score. That would be Taysom Hill's first touchdown of the day. Can you play that one, by the way? Taysom Hill's first touchdown of the day.
Taysom keeps it. He is going to score on the right side. Taysom Hill, RPO. Cleveland bit on the handoff to Alvin Kamara. Taysom kept it to the right side, and from the 5-yard end, you knew he was going to score 10 yards.
A 21-0 fourth quarter. Another thing that I like, talk about winning plays. You're tied at 14 in the fourth quarter. You're facing a 4th down and 2 from the Cleveland 33. Look, consider the situation. Consider the situation. It's 4th and 2. It's a tie ball game in the fourth quarter. A field goal right here. 50-yarder at the 33. 50-yarder and Groupie's been good. 50-yarder gives you the lead. Instead, not kicking the field goal. We're going for it. 4th and 2. Put Taysom in the single wing, and this is what happened.
Saints 8 for 15 on 4th down. Carr goes in motion now. It's QB power for Taysom Hill. Right side. Taysom still on his feet. Taysom 20, 15. See you later. Bye. Taysom Hill. What a day.
That was his second touchdown. And oh, by the way, Hill would add a third for good measure with a 75-yarder around left end. Also out of the single wing. You see, the Saints' best offense on the day was when Derek Carr wasn't at quarterback, oddly enough. When Taysom Hill took all 3 of those snaps directly on all 3 of his touchdowns. And that, of course, was the margin for the New Orleans Saints in the game where they won 35-14. What a day for Taysom Hill. You know, I think also, I'll get to back to Taysom in a second. You talk about winning plays. Special teams were great for New Orleans again. You did return a punt for a touchdown that got called back when Pettis stepped out of bounds. But Hopkins, maybe the special teams gods are just smiling on you because you elevated a special teams coordinator to your head coach, because now all of a sudden nobody can make a kick in the Superdome. Younghoe Koo misses 2 last week, gets 1 blocked, and on Sunday, Hopkins misses his first one. The second one right before half is from 32 yards. He misses it. There's a defensive holding on the Saints. He gets another crack from 27 yards and pulls it left again. I mean, maybe it is just the football gods smiling down on the New Orleans Saints for promoting a special teams coach. By the way, John Harbaugh was a special teams coach. He's done pretty well in Baltimore. I'm just saying. So you've had a lot of things go your way in close games. That's a sign of a winning team. It's a sign of a team that believes in the guy standing at the front of the room. What's different? It's obvious what's different. What's different is they believe in Darren Rizzi. They're hyped for Darren Rizzi. They're playing hard for him. They're making winning plays. Taysom's day was great. If you haven't seen this, I'm sure most of you have by now. Taysom Hill on Sunday with his day became just the second player in NFL history with 25 rushing touchdowns, 10 passing touchdowns, and 10 receiving touchdowns. The only other is Frank Gifford, who's in the Hall of Fame. By the way, he played football in the 1950s. So it just goes to show you it's been 70 years since you had a player doing the types of things on a football field week in and week out that Taysom Hill is doing. There's a conversation about the Hall of Fame with Taysom Hill, which you can roll your eyes and laugh, and I would. Like, for me, Taysom Hill would not be a Hall of Famer. But what I will say as a random tangent here. The Pro Football Hall of Fame committee elected Devin Hester as a returner. He is a specialist that they elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Taysom Hill would not be a Hall of Famer as a running back. He would not be a Hall of Famer as a quarterback. He would not be a Hall of Famer as a receiver. He would not be a Hall of Famer as a returner. He would not be a Hall of Famer as a tight end. But when you have one guy that does all of those things very well, he might be a Hall of Famer. I don't know. Let that conversation another day. Just file it away. Taysom was great. Again, all 3 touchdowns came out of the single wing when Derek Carr wasn't under center, which I think is very telling. I also look at this day and I go, how in the world was Marquez Valdes-Scantling unemployed? I mean, I understand the Bills made a trade. They got Amari Cooper. MVS hadn't been popping for them. But the fact that he was unemployed is stunning because very clear. Look, there's 32 NFL teams, all of whom employ 5 or 6 receivers on their game day roster, not to mention practice squads as well. You're not going to tell me there's 150 players in the world better at wide receiver than Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I mean, he's played 2 games with the Saints. He's got 6 catches, 3 of them are for deep touchdowns. If nothing else, he still gives you that elite ability to stretch the field. And that has sort of reinvigorated the Saints passing game because when you lost Rashid Shaheed, you lost that component. You have it back now with Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Also, what a day for Taliesin Fuaga. Maybe the most understated part of the day. And we did talk about this as far as what to watch as we're going into the game on Sunday. And when we were here on Friday doing our final previews and predictions was how did Taliesin Fuaga match up against Myles Garrett, the defending NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Well, how about this from our guy Ross Jackson over at LouisianaSports.net. Per Next Gen Stats, Myles Garrett had just 2 pressures against the Saints. That's the lowest total of a single game for pressures for Garrett this season. His 8% pressure percentage was his lowest of 2024. So Taliesin Fuaga, in his first go-round against the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, pitched a shutout on Myles Garrett. After the game, Derek Carr talked about the day that Fuaga had against Myles Garrett.
What a great challenge for him, because we did leave him out there a couple times. You can't always chip and do certain things 100% of the time. There's certain concepts and routes you just live with, and you got to do it. And I thought he did a fantastic job. And what an experience for him to go against one of the more dominant players our league has ever seen. And to just grow in confidence and continue to get better. And he'll see things he'd want better or want all those things. But for him to get a taste of playing against Myles, what that's like, and for him to handle himself really well.
Can we get a count in there? By the way, he also dropped an our leg. I was listening to that last night. I texted Muse at 6 o'clock.
In our league.
So do we replace DA now with Derek Carr in our league?
I think we might have to because DA's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to keep the drop going.
Give me let's get an our leg counter going for Derek Carr.
Players our league has ever.
Kind of skipped over it there.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to isolate it. Let's see, our leg.
In our league.
Great day for Taliesin Fuaga. A couple of other observations from the Saints win over the Browns. A little bit of a resurgence for the Saints run defense. 20 rushes for 66 yards for Cleveland, just 3.3 yards per carry. The Saints, over this losing streak, had become one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. Of course, against Tampa and Denver, back-to-back games allowing 200 rushing yards. It's nice to see them step up. And look, Nick Chubb had been healthy, getting healthier, and had been running well. So the fact that the Saints fared well in run defense was encouraging. Look, there was some that was not great. Look, you lost the turnover battle 2-0. How about that? Taysom had 2 turnovers. By the way, his deep ball still looks like a high school punt. I mean, guy, he's just so bad at throwing the deep ball. And then fumbled in the red zone. But when you have a day like Taysom did, it can make you forget about your 2 turnovers. You did allow Jameis to throw for 395. One of the things we talked about wanting to see as well was how did Alontae Taylor and Kool-Aid McKinstry fare as your boundary corners after having traded Lattimore and, of course, the injury to Paulson Adebo. Taylor allowed both touchdowns, including an 89-yard catch and run to Jerry Jeudy when they were in man coverage with no safety help. It's not great. There was a lot that wasn't great in this game, but you made winning plays. You finished strong. You had a good game plan getting Taysom involved, and clearly it pays you to a win, 35-14. A lot of people are asking, do the Saints have a path back to the playoffs? I don't think so. I understand Atlanta scuffling a little bit. They got blown out at Denver yesterday, but Atlanta's still 2 games ahead of you right now. And if you look at Tampa as well, the thing to really consider is Tampa's schedule. I know Tampa's sitting there at 4-6 right now, but when you look at what Tampa has left, they're at the Giants. They play at the Panthers. They get the Raiders at home. Then they go to LA to take on the Chargers, which is a tough game. They go to Dallas, then home against the Panthers, home against the Saints. It's realistic to think that they'll go 5-1. Tampa will down the stretch. So I still think Tampa should probably be the favorite to win the division just based on what they have remaining. I mean, they faced a horrible gauntlet this season. And Tampa's lost 4 in a row, which is brutal. But it was to the Ravens, the Falcons, the Chiefs, and the Niners. They'll have an opportunity to get right down the stretch. And then, like I look at New Orleans, I mean, I think they got 2 more wins in them. I think they can win at New York against the Giants, and I think they can beat the Raiders at home. Anything else would be lagniappe. Hard to imagine you're going to beat the Rams. The Commanders are going to be playing for a division title. I don't think you're better than Washington. I don't think you're going to win at Green Bay on December the 23rd. And then I think Tampa's going to be probably playing for the division that final weekend. It's hard to imagine going there and getting a win. Could you? Yes, it's the NFL, but I don't think the Saints are going to have some resurgence and make a run to the postseason. I just want to see some of these guys continue to play better and go win some games. So, and then you go into the offseason preparing for what is next for this organization. But a nice win on Sunday, getting a win over Cleveland, 35-14. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.